Hello and welcome. I'm Sulaiman Alede. Tonight, Prime Minister David Cameron vows to make Britain greater as Conservative Party wins majority seats in UK Parliament. Nigerian-born Britons clinch 4 seats. Thousands of Nigerians flee border towns in Niger following Boko Haram attacks, narrate ordeal in Yobe State. Inspector General of Police insists order removing roadblocks across the country remains in force, warns all formations against flouting directive. And tension on the rise as Burundi's president submits application to seek third term in office despite protests against his bid.
On business news tonight, interbank lending rate rises by an average of 9 points due to large sales of treasury bills.
Our sports news, Nigeria's Super Falcons advance to the third round of the 2016 Rio Olympic qualifier as Mali pulls out of Saturday's second round game.
We begin tonight outside the shores of Nigeria, specifically in the United Kingdom, where the British Prime Minister David Cameron has been given the mandate to stay on number 10 Downing Street for another 5 years following the victory of his Conservative Party in the general elections. The Conservatives made gains in England and Wales and won the needed 326 votes to form a government. 4 Nigerian-born Britons also won seats in the UK Parliament. Speaking outside Downing Street after visiting Buckingham Palace, Mr. Cameron says he believes the country is on the brink of something special. He's promised to lead a government for one nation and to make Great Britain greater.
I've just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, and I will now form a majority Conservative government. I've been proud to lead the first coalition government in 70 years, and I want to thank all those who worked so hard to make it a success. And in particular, on this day, Nick Clegg. Elections can be bruising clashes of ideas and arguments, and a lot of people who believe profoundly in public service have seen that service cut short. Ed Miliband rang me this morning to wish me luck with the new government. It was a typically generous gesture from someone who is clearly in public service for all the right reasons. When I stood here 5 years ago, and yes, we will deliver that in-out referendum on our future in Europe. As we conduct this vital work, we must ensure that we bring our country together. As I said in the small hours of this morning, we will govern as a party of one nation, one United Kingdom.
In the meantime, congratulatory messages have been poured in from Mr. David Cameron. One of them is from Nigeria's President, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who's wished the Prime Minister a successful new term in office. Given the assurance of the best wishes of the government and people of Nigeria, President Jonathan says he expects that the historic relationship between Nigeria and Britain, which received a significant boost during the past 5 years of his presidency, will continue to blossom in the years ahead. He added that, quote, both countries, Nigeria and the UK, will continue to strengthen current bilateral cooperation between them in critical areas such as the fight against insurgency and terrorism, education, trade, infrastructure, and the achievement of Nigeria's development targets. End of quote. While Prime Minister David Cameron savors his victory, leaders of 3 parties that contested against him, including opposition Labour Party leader Ed Miliband and Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg, have resigned their positions. Although it won a number of seats in London, Labour failed to make the headway it wanted in the south of England and the Midlands.
This is not the speech I wanted to give today, because I believed that Britain needed a Labour government. I still do, but the public voted otherwise last night. Earlier today, I rang David Cameron to congratulate him. I take absolute and total responsibility for the result and our defeat at this election.
One after the other, the resignation comes, all pointing to one fact. Prime Minister David Cameron's Conservative Party has won a majority in Parliament.
I always expected this election to be exceptionally difficult for the Liberal Democrats, given the heavy responsibilities we've had to bear in government in the most challenging of circumstances. But clearly the results have been immeasurably more crushing and unkind than I could ever have feared. For that, of course, I must take responsibility, and therefore I announce that I will be resigning as leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Also, the leader of the anti-immigration party, UKIP, resigned as promised after losing his seat in the UK's general elections.
Now, I said, as this campaign went on, that if I didn't win, I would stand down as leader of UKIP. And I know that you in the media are used to party leaders making endless promises that they don't actually keep, but I'm a man of my word. I don't break my word, so I should be writing to the UK UKIP National Executive in a few minutes, saying that I am standing down as leader of UKIP. I will recommend that pro tem they put in place as acting leader Suzanne Evans, who I think has emerged from this campaign as an absolute tower of strength within UKIP.
The Conservatives now have the 326 seats needed to form a majority administration, meaning they are able to govern without the need for a coalition or formal agreement with other parties.
Now, 4 British politicians of Nigerian descent have clinched seats in Westminster Parliament. The results of the just concluded general elections in the UK saw a slight increase in the number of black and ethnic minorities, which before now was 27 out of 650 members. Our correspondent in London, Doris Okenwa, reports that expectations are high among the Nigerian community following the victory, as many hope their interests will be better represented.
650 constituencies, 50 million voters, 7 prominent contenders. But the battle was really down to these 2. David Cameron will return to Downing Street for a second term as Conservatives cruise to victory.
I've just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, and I will now form a majority Conservative government.
The predictions was that of a Conservatives party win short of 20 to secure the required majority seats, with Labour trailing behind. The actual results did see a Conservative win that exceeded the forecast, shattering speculations as they clinched majority seats higher than the required 326.
What we're going to see is a confidence in the UK, in the British population, saying that we do not want to risk the stable and steady economic growth that we've been seeing over the last 5 years, to the point where now the UK economy is one of the fastest growing in the developed world.
Parliament will see more black and ethnic minorities this time around, with 12 new winners. There will now be 38 black and minority ethnic members of Parliament in Westminster. 4 out of this number are Nigerians: Chuka Omona, Chi Onwura, Kate Osamoah, and Helen Grant. Samuel Kasimu, political analyst, says this is good for Nigerians in the UK for many reasons.
For Nigerians in the UK, I think my message is that there's a lot of opportunity for you to progress as individuals. If you want to own your own home, this is the government that will help you do that. If you want to set up a business, this is the government that will help you do that.
On a broader scale, the relationship between Nigeria and Britain could progress more significantly as far as economic ties is concerned.
You have a number of Nigerian MPs now, which is a good thing, and I think that we may even have a Nigerian or someone of Nigerian heritage who is the leader of the opposition if Chuka Umana decides that that's for him, and if he's successful in his leadership bid. So for Nigerians across the world, these are exciting times to look at what those in England are doing within the diaspora.
The election results opens up the next phase of jostling, this time around for new government formations, cabinet positions, but more importantly, for fulfilling the promises dished out in manifestos. From London, Doris Okenwa, Channels Television News.
Leaving the UK elections back home now, a suicide bomber armed with improvised explosive devices and AK-47 rifle has launched an attack on the College of Administrative and Business Studies, Potiskum, in Yobe State, northeast of Nigeria. The information department of the institution told Channels Television that the bomber stormed the school around 8 this morning. He started shooting sporadically at the gate before entering the school, shooting at students and teachers alike. Reports say efforts were made to subdue the bomber when it was noticed that he was running out of ammunition. Apparently realizing that he would be apprehended, the attacker triggered the IED he was carrying, killing himself in the process. Hospital sources say that 7 people with various degrees of gunshot injuries have been hospitalized at the Potuskum General Hospital located just beside the school and are currently being treated. The Police Public Relations Officer of the Yobe Command, Mr. Toyi Badegesi, says that the situation has been brought under control. Well, in part 2, after the break, Imo State Elections Petition Tribunal begins sitting in Owerri, warns against flimsy applications by lawmakers. Stay with us.